Like somebody commented on the last video, we got them in just in time. Now, those girls are not staying in, but I'm far rather happier that they are in. These girls are good, they just need some bedding. These guys will need bedding and maybe a bale. The big lot's fine today. Golden girls need bed and fed. These guys are going to need a couple of bales because I see some calves are venturing inside. Little Alf here. They are really liking these tubs. Way to go, Lisa. So yeah, we'll do some bed and feds here as well, even though they got bedded yesterday. I can literally see you bending the gate. Okay, I better feed her. Okay. Bottle drained. Oh, it's just a mess. Like, we got snow, we got wet, and the ground is not even remotely frozen, not in the slightest. So it's just a schmug, just a mess. So, we really don't want to do too much. Like, we're not hauling bales and we're not going to be moving stuff around the yard. Because the problem is, we know the temperature is sliding, the temperature is going down. And, oh sorry, I've got to point you where I'm looking. And the problem being is whatever we do to the ground now will be there for the next 6 months. So a lot of people don't realize that about prairie farming. It's the same across a lot of northern North Dakota, all of Manitoba, all of Saskatchewan, most of Alberta. It's the middle of November, and this is typically what November looks like. Hey Weeks, Mini Moo. This is us till April. So 6.5 months out of the year. That's how long you are off the ground. That's how long that you are not. You have to be sustainable. You have to be sustainable for upwards of 7 months out of the year. So 7 out of the 12. So you have 5 months where you can live off the ground. And then the rest of the year you have to be sustainable by what you produce. And that's the difference between here and lots of parts of the world. Now, in the UK, it's not dissimilar, it's just different numbers. My UK friends will attest to this. It's different because you're off the ground because of sheer moisture levels. The ground is absolutely saturated. Kind of like what this is right now, except we will be through this pretty quickly and we will be into hard ground. Whereas in the UK you work all year long, which is normally about, oh, I'll probably get corrected here, it's normally about 8 or 9 months of groundwork, whether it's grazing or whether you're actually producing silage, hay, crops, whether it be edible crops, i.e. sugar beet, radish, turnips, all that stuff. And then you have about 3 to 4 months where you're off the ground. Yeah, here it's a lot longer, so it's just different but same. So I'm going to be pulling this panel out of here because it's got to go into the calves to get ready for their sorting. And then I've got to pick up this twine. Anyway, get about the day. Rare sightage of the gate boss. So yeah, welcome back. So yeah, that happened. Now yeah, it's we've been living on borrowed time. Like I said, as old Dick and Charlie used to tell us when we first came here, you get to Halloween and you've still got bare soft ground, you're on borrowed time. And yeah, it still kind of sucks when it happens, especially when you get this stuff. You don't, And this is how it happens mostly. You get a wet spell, it turns to snow, and then it freezes, so you end up with this crud. Versus it just turns cold, it freezes up, and then you get the snow to blanket it. So yeah, you'll quite often get ice, and then you'll get snow on top of the ice, just to make it doubly treacherous. Sun's out, so hopefully maybe some of it's going to melt off, because it is above 0 today. You know, though that says -1. But it's turned into a nicer day. Now that we've got all the chores done, and I know everybody says my fault because we were putting up Christmas decorations. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Yeah. I don't mind the snow. I don't mind the cold. As long as it's not blowing hard and as long as it's not wet, we do just fine. So, I'm going to do a run to town. It's Sunday. Our local cooperative is open on Sundays. Got to do a run for some essentials like my tea bags. I ran out of tea. I can't be a tea Jenny without tea bags. So yeah, got the chores all done up with the assistance of the Gate Boss Supreme. And then I think the rest of the day we're just going to spend it getting the house ready and ship shape for the oncoming festive season, and go from there. So we'll see you in the next clip. There we go, some fresh straw down. Those girls had lots of feed. Here's his crew, fresh bedding. They're all fresh feed today. There's Squiggles, little guy. Hey, little buddy. Yeah. This crew has new bedding, both pans, and a new fresh bale in each pan. These guys, fresh bales, fresh bedding because they were out. So these guys might be getting loaded up sometime soon. This lot, they'll stay in today. They got lots to eat. They got enough bedding. It's not exactly the cleanest, but I'd far rather just keep them in until tomorrow. It's supposed to be nicer. And then Tuesday apparently supposed to be crappy again, so they might be back in, but only just to shelter. We're not going to feed them back in here all the time because we don't want them getting into that habit. This is only for shelter that they come in here, because we don't want to be building up bed pack in November, or we end up with what we had this year with 250 loads of poop getting spread. That's right, folks. That's how many loads of manure that old Red International hauled out to the field and spread. 250 loads at, I don't know if it's 6 tons or 10 tons or how many tons that little spreader holds. That's a lot of poop. And the boys are as happy as boys ever are. So it's coffee time. Yeah, this might be the 24th winter. You never just quite get used to it when the big white blanket shows up. So apparently this white blanket will not leave. It is warm today, it's above 0. We're not going to see the sun much. And apparently the next storm is approaching. Not to arrive till tomorrow though. And they have said anywhere upwards to 30 centimeters, so a third of a meter of snow, are possible in this area. So fingers crossed, everybody, that does not materialize. But by the time you're watching this, we will know. So yeah, I don't know if I was really clear in the last video when I was going 2 and then 3 over there. So the majority of the field has had 2 layers of poop on it. The far end there where the sort of now tops, the hilltops, a little bit lighter ground has had 3 layers of poop on it. So what I'm really hoping with that is that with that much manure on here, it will sort of drown out the grass, which means hopefully when we're set up in the spring to plow this, it should break up and turn over a lot nicer. Plus, with this much poop on here, this ground should grow tremendous crops. So between now and then, we're going to be looking at the merits of either growing a conventional corn crop in here and chopping it, or just going with a pea, oat, barley forage mix, or just going with an oat mix, and that way we can either chop it, bale it, or combine it. So that is to be debated. So yeah, so I'm going to set up these panels so we can let these girls back out into the north paddock for today. Then we'll get the corrals ready for tomorrow, because for all intents and purposes they will be coming back in, because I always like to give our girls the corrals during storms. I know most places just keep them outside, they'll fine, they won't melt. Well, we don't have a lot of shelter around, like I've talked about. They could shelter by the big scrub piles out there, but we've got the corrals, and yeah, I don't care, they're my girls. So I'm going to switch these panels out. There is supposed to be gates going in this opening and this opening, but we don't have the gates yet. So I got to put this panel where that one is, because that panel is not big enough, because as you can see it does not join. That panel needs rebuilt because the legs are broken on both ends. See, that one's bent, that one, half of it's missing. But what I do have to do is I have to set up the tire feeders, because we do still have about 20 tons of silage to feed. So let's get on. But you know what? Well, we still have the ability. I'll bring them down here. So yeah, creek bottom, river bottom, floodplain, whatever you want to call it, ravine. Yeah. What the heck was that? There's mooing coming from way down there. I know somebody else's cows have come onto our property. I see something down there. That's weird. That sounded close. Anyway, all of our animals are home, so it's not ours. So yeah, the reason that I like doing this, it's like up here, it's kind of, we're trying to build up the biomass, so when we plow this and put down, because we're going to fence around the dugout, up the edge here, you see kind of a rise background, and then that way this can be field or grazed, but we can keep these separate depending on how many head we're running, and then depending on whether we put this piece of land back with that quarter. But so one of the reasons for doing this down here is, and then this is part where we get into this discussion, nay argument with the environmentalists, because I am environmentally minded, as you all know. Trees, we're technically organic, green cover programs, all of that good stuff. The art of a cow, ruminant cow, bison, buffalo, whatever you want to call them, walking around here is their hooves generate the biomass between punching in the turf. That way you don't just get one superior low grade fast growing grass, you get competition, because these animals, they do that. They limit the one that is taking over and then lets other ones get going. Plus, with us spreading this stuff down here, there's seeds in this, so it will generate some of the grasses and some of the alfalfa to germinate down here on this creek bottom. And then that way, what does come back next year will be competitive. So That's kind of one of the reasons why we put the stuff down here. It is as much to shelter them from any winter storms. Right now there is barely a breath of wind, considering tomorrow's supposed to be a right stonking storm, but that's how it usually goes here. So yeah, they will be down here till tomorrow. We'll go and get the corral ready, like I said in the previous clip, but yeah, now they're happy. Happy as pigs in poo. So you can see number one, number two. And like I'd guessed, you can see right there, they didn't have half of the other stuff eaten from when the other storm showed up, but they'll pick through it because they've cleaned up here pretty good. So I'll leave them be. You crazy woman. What are you doing there, Chippy? Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna get back. Oh, somebody's giving Penny a chewing in. Good. Penny needs a good chewing in. Okay, back to work. Go ahead, get set up for tomorrow. It's a foregone conclusion. The storm is coming, but look at this. The old guy on to a different job. Yeah, he made 300 bales of hay, pulling the 568 John Deere baler. Then he spread 250 loads of poop with the 195 New Holland spreader. And now he's gonna put out about 20 tons of silage with the Cadillac 360. Ah, old boy, he's making his living. Gonna have to put a whole new engine kit on him and get his hydraulics all tightened up, and yeah, he's earned it. I gotta put these bales in, then we'll bed it up. I know it's kind of pointless to bed it right now if it's gonna snow, but I can't let the cows in there with the pen in that state. So. I was hoping to get some of these bales back out, but I haven't got the trees that dropped. I haven't got them cut up yet. I've got some of it separated out, but I have to climb in there, and then you see that one is actually leaning against the tree up there, and it's cut. So I've got to wrap a chain around and then drive out of there pretty quick once I get these guys out of the way, and yank it and drop it so it doesn't fall on through there. Take out another section of fence. Yeah, I know I'm bouncing all over the place, but you all know Piper Doug by now. I know it's not ADHD. I'm pretty sure you never know. Anyway, so made the managerial decision. I didn't go ahead and bed that corral. I was checking the weather report. They're still talking up to 30 centimeters of snow. So I put the hay bales in. Cows are still down in the ravine. They're just dug in there like wood ticks. As my dad would say, dug into my heart like a wood tick dug into my bum cheek. Dad'll know what I'm talking about when I said that. So yeah, there's no point in putting the bedding down. They're talking the snow will start arriving at about 9 a.m. I'm supposed to be in Brandon at a counseling session tomorrow afternoon. That's looking debatable. But the good thing is, here in Canada, with the way that storms work, you don't have to give 24-hour warning for cancellation like you normally would, like if you just were like, I'm not going to my dentist appointment, blah blah blah. Here, if a storm rolls in, you don't pay any fines on missed appointments. So basically what will end up happening is, if the storm rolls in as bad as it is, we will let the cows in sort of mid-afternoon. It's supposed to ramp up sort of mid-afternoon and run right through till after dark. So there's no point in putting down a bunch of bedding. The cows are just going to stand around, because you know cows don't like to lie down in a storm, they stand and huddle. So yeah, it would just be wasted. The bedding would just get trampled into the mud, and that's the problem when it's so mild. It is just mud right now, so it'd be different if it was froze up. I was checking one of my Facebook memories where it was -20, I'd actually welcome that right now, because that would make this a lot easier. Try not to do too many damage. I can't go haul straw because I would punch the cultivated field out, but here on this oh, what is this now, 2-year-old alfalfa, 3rd season? Yeah, it stands up to this quite well. You just don't travel the same track twice. Anyway, so yeah, I'm just gonna leave the bedding. We'll let the cows in, they'll eat, they'll stand around, and then once the storm starts to slow down, either tomorrow evening, we'll go in and throw down some bedding around the walls to let the cows lay down. But no. So I am gonna start loading up these number 1 hays till supper time, because I gotta, these go in a separate section. That section there is first cut, which is number 2 hay. That's from this field. Down by the gateway is where number 1, which is second cut, this stuff goes. So, and then once this is all hauled in, then we still have half of first cut and most of second cut out in the big quarter. I'll have to come in, because that pile there is only half of the first cut. So yeah, still a lot of bales to haul, but the good thing is that stuff out there, Liam already stacked them for me, so that saves me a whole bunch of running around. So anyway, I'm gonna keep on loading up this trailer, and yeah, by the time you see this video, we will know what the storm will be, and then in the next episode you will see what it ended up being. So thanks for watching, everybody, and we do so appreciate all the new subscribers, and we more so appreciate all the old subscribers. We will see you down in the comment section. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and see you next week. End of the week. Tell you bye, everybody. Kind of glad I never saw this or got too close to this back in the when it was warmer. Ooh-wee. Look at the size of that bad boy. That's a 38-inch rim there, folks. I see a can of WD-40 and a book of matches in your future there, buddy.